Good evening, my beautiful crime family. We had a we had one show this afternoon early. I don't usually do one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I do them at 5 in the morning, but I don't do them at 2 in the afternoon. But we did. It was good. It was fun. We do have a problem tonight though, and I should have looked to see, but CJ stopped his podcast or his YouTube thing here an hour ago. He was on. That was a 10 hour. He was on there for almost 11 hours. So I'm sure he is like beat. So, but we're going to go over what he. I don't know what he. What anybody else? What was anybody else in CJ's? I was in really early. I mean, he was still on the road and everything. So really don't know what all happened there. Well, thank you, Deborah. And you always look beautiful. And let me say hi to my crime family here first. Then we're going to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to be going on the fly here. But we're going to definitely take a look at what CJ did. I don't blame him for shutting it down. The guys, he went a straight 10 hours and 55 minutes. That's a long time. And a lot of that was on the road. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Anyway, let's say hello. Hello, dang it. Hi, Lulu. Good to see you. Oh, Elbow, there she is. Good to see you, my girl. Kip Kitty, good to see you. And Ro, good to see you. And Moonflower Laza, good to see you, my girl. And Joey, good to see you. And Angela, good to see you, girl. Debray, my girl, good to see you. Latina, my girl, good to see you. Rise and Grind, good to see you. Rise and Grind. Oh, in my day. That's a good name. I like that one. And Deborah, really good to see you. I haven't seen you for a couple of days. And okay. Angela, good to see you. I'm going kind of a Jackie, good to see you. Debbie Gazzardo, good to see you. Kathy, good to see you. Yeah. Crazy P, good to see you. Chloe, good to see you. And yeah, okay. I think we'll cover it for now. I keep scrolling here. Debbie Noggle, good to see you. Okay, so I guess we're going to take a look at what CJ. I don't know what he all went through. I know. I'm just T-Touch, good to see you. Natural Healing, my girl, good to see you. Lori Markel, good to see you. Wade Bird, good to see you. Oh, is he coming back on tonight? Man, that guy, man, he starts out early in the morning, goes all the way to, drives all that way, and then to Nashville. He's on 11 hours straight. I'm sure he had to catch a little nap. Oh, not till 9 p.m. Oh, geez, if I would have known that, I would have changed that. Oh, 9 p.m. Let's see. He's in Ohio. So, that's Nashville time. What is Nashville time to me? Is that 1 hour or 2 hours? I think it's only 1 hour. So he'll be back in 45 minutes or so. Okay, so but we'll jump around here a little bit and show some stuff, and let's go take a look at what CJ did, because I haven't even seen since very early. I want to find out what happened when he got there and all that. I didn't even click in here. There we go. Oh, I gotta shut my. Why is that? Oh, okay, I gotta change something real quick. Are you guys hearing it? Because I sure ain't. Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to try to get to where he's not on the road anymore. That's where I want to kind of find out what went on. No, we'll show a little bit on the road. We'll show a little bit on the road. And you had Rosie Overtime on. If I wouldn't have been doing that show, I would have wouldn't jumped on with him.
YouTube. Trying to get my chat back up.
Oh, he's cruising.
Well, she must be at her location if she hasn't tried to hop back on. Because I know she said she was getting close. The last time she was getting bumped off and came back on.
So how many people have been to
so she's probably at her location.
To Nashville? Let me know.
Did they say why they're calling back the search effort? They're like calling back the search efforts, but there are still a lot of people searching out there searching.
Let's just go. I want to see what happened when he got there.
Change this to an ongoing criminal. The fucking spot that you see in the videos of them talking about it, you can see the Nissan Stadium in the background. No, not that bridge. Because there's two bridges that go by it.
He must be getting kind of close a little bit. Because this is
yeah, if there's something that pops off in the next
7 hours
let me know and I'll hop off and throw the backpack on. Otherwise, I'm gonna head home, get some rest after this, and get ready for a long day, a long next few days, because we'll probably end up. We're going tomorrow for sure. Thursday is like 97%, and then Friday probably too. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I see the Cotton Eye Joe when you come into Nashville. It's like kind of run down sign and shit too. So it's an old Cotton Eye Joe restaurant. Yeah, it's on the left side when you're coming in from the west, going east. It's on your left. It always stuck out to me because I was like, well, I remember that song. And
I'll move it up a little bit. Where we're at here.
That boat's gonna be tough. You're gonna want. I can get you some heavy duty gloves when we get there. I can get you some heavy duty gloves. I do have some heavy duty gloves at the house.
Okay, you know what? He might have done all highway here. So what we might do is go watch some videos and catch up on this case a little bit. And then he's going to be on at 9. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. This was all highway. Okay. Okay, learn that. Let's see. I'll jump on. I did watch a couple videos today, and we're going to learn some stuff here. And you know what? We might even go into the Koberger stuff a little bit later. I do believe we might be here a while. Very possibly. Okay, 16 hours ago. I'm going to try to get something. Here's 3 hours ago. Oh, I don't want to stay away from law and crime. Oh, and I don't like Nancy Grace. Okay, here we go. And I'll get over here and share that screen instead.
This is Sergeant Bob Nelson. We're with the Homicide Cold Case Unit for Metro Nashville Police, and we've been heading up the investigation into Riley's disappearance. As Mr. Flagg said, we've been in contact with him since the very beginning, coordinating what we could as far as with the family's active participation in locating Riley. That has been, and to this day remains, the top priority. There has not been any evidence that has come forward to change this to an ongoing criminal investigation at this time.
Oh man, that's just crazy.
Several leads that we are following up with on a constant basis, and an influx of information that is coming forward at all times. We are going through every single piece of that information, but the priority remains locating Riley.
As he said, I'm Sergeant Nielsen. I gave a briefing to our chain of command all the way up to Chief Drake yesterday. They're well aware of where we are with the investigation at this point, as well as the resources. We do have our boat going back in the water this afternoon, along with members of the Urban Search and Rescue Team that will be combing the area, researching the area. It's been mentioned already today, and it's also been asked, things like, why was that card found and why didn't we find it? As Mr. Flagg pointed out, there's a lot of variables in these investigations, and if you've not been skilled or trained or experienced in these investigations, you don't understand a lot of these things. As Don Aaron put out the other day, when we start a missing person investigation, we're looking for a person, we're looking for a body. We're not looking for small pieces of evidence. Can we miss some things? Sure. But our primary goal is to find Mr. Strain and bring him home safely. Think of it like a large crime scene. A lot of times you have to deal with the victims first before you can go back and start looking for those precise pieces of evidence. Okay. That's kind of our focus here. We're looking for Mr. Strain. Then we go back and look again. And because these two ladies over here were kind enough to volunteer their time and helped us by.
Deborah, who's Pascal? Who is Pascal? Is he a YouTuber? Let me see if I can find him here. Yep, there he is. All right, we're gonna run this instead. I don't know this show whatsoever. Oh, cool. All right, we'll do this. Wait for my ad blocker to work here.
Back to that too, he literally put on his graph. He put the cubic volume flow of water, and said that Riley could be up to 100 miles away from that point of last interest if Riley made it through. And I'm not sure if there's locks in between in that section, debris, all that, So yes, there is a viable thing that Riley, if he had went into the water, he could be up to 100 miles away. He flat out told us that, they have found bodies that far away from an initial scene of an accident or whatever. It's just tough though with the debris and the part of the river,
right,
the trees and everything that's in it. Unfortunately, there's been 2 people that's went into the river in the last 9 days. The wild part of it is literally when I was communicating with the girls about the debit card, I literally had my phone blowing up from family going, "It's not Riley they just found." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "I'm working this debit card, and what are you talking about?" And then,
right.
my poor phone's going off like a slot machine. Oh my God, is it him? Blah blah blah. It was actually somebody else in a different colored shirt altogether.
Right.
I think yesterday somebody went into the river. I've not got confirmation, but I think that was actually maybe a homeless person. There's people that went into this river, granted not in flood stage in essence, and I'm not sure it was actually called flood stage. It was just up, but they went into that river during this time frame and was found very quick. One last thing, and I know you've got to take care of some stuff. If you look at a map of Nashville, that river, if you look at it, and I did first right out of the box, I'm like,
Right.
okay, that river goes west to east. It does not. That river goes east to west, which if you look at the map, you blow it up and you see where Riley was at, that river goes through a huge portion of Nashville. I'm not saying Riley didn't have an accident or was pushed into the river or anything like that. We don't know. We have no evidence.
Right.
That's why I'm here trying to talk to you. But yeah, that river and everything that flows through there goes the opposite direction of what I naturally, once again, made a mistake and thought it went that way, because we've had some leads and I was like, there's no way that could, we need to look there. That's, upriver. And luckily with the geologicals, they're like, it goes east to west, not west to east. So if my crime sleuths are out there, hey, that may be a tidbit of clue that you didn't know. I got educated on it. Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. So that's really, really good information to know.
That is what, that's what I was told. And I was like, wow, okay.
Right. And it is very swift, a very strong current from my understanding as well.
Right.
But real quick, before we continue, please guys, do me a favor, hit that like button down below, show some love. I see a bunch of y'all in here. Let's get it to 2K like, if that would be ever possible. That would really mean a lot. Don't forget to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and all that stuff. I got a couple more super chats for you here, some more questions. Okay. But Chris, we already answered this. He did not wear undershirts, so thank you so much for the 5. Moving on, Robert, thank you so much for being a member for the past 14 months. Has there been more unsolved missing persons in Nashville? Could this be connected to another missing persons? That's a good question too. I'm curious.
Very good question.
Well,
actually, and you can Google that. Yes. Yeah, I actually had a lady that sent me a little portfolio of 4 people. Riley was one of them that is currently being investigated in that area for missing. I think one was a 14 or 15-year-old autism young man, and some other people. Yes.
Wow. Okay. That is very good information, to be really, really honest. Real quick, Jackie, thank you so much for the 5. Do you know for a fact that when he fell, he hit his head? Did he really hit his head or not? When
we blew it up, and like I said, I there's people with a lot bigger TVs than me. You can actually go and see him.
Yeah.
When he stumbled, he come up full rest and actually hesitated. It seemed like an eternity for us. Was maybe a couple of seconds, but it kind of stunned him a little bit. We've actually had some people with way more technology than we do. Because I made the comment, I go, wow, man, it looks like he rolled, and it wasn't a direct head into the concrete deal. Right. But yeah, he did top of his shoulders, back of his neck when he kind of thumped into that, and you can watch his body motions. It stops.
Oh, yeah.
Riley was moving, and then bam, he was there.
There was no bouncing. There was no bouncing. It was
no.
And then he got up and he tried to dust himself off. Clearly, there was no. It's clearly he wasn't in distress because he tried to like walk it off like nothing happened.
Yes,
y'all didn't see that. That's what it seemed like.
And one of the things, and we can tie back to this. I'm not saying that we talked about the credit card in the pocket, guys. When he went down right there, that credit card, if it was in the pocket, should have went zinging.
Okay, I've been really messed up. I mean, like totally. I could do that if I was really, 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 really drunk. Depending on what he drank. I mean, people were saying, someone might have slipped him something. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you think that he was slipped something, or do you think he was just drunk? Okay, just drunk, number one. He was slipped something, two. Just really drunk, one. Somebody slipped him something, number two. I just kind of want to see where everybody's at on this. Just drunk, one. Somebody slipped him something, two. Yeah, I think the twos are winning out. There are some ones. I know I've been really drunk, and I mean I've done shit like that, man. I used to do a lot of drinking, and oh, wait a minute, let me see. AJ. Hi, AJ. AJ says not drunk. Police body cams 5 minutes showed him normal. Body counts what, 5 minutes before? Is that what you're saying? See, I haven't got all of this. I haven't been following the case that closely to really get into it. Here, let me get back to the video, though. I don't want to miss too much here because this is the only way I can learn.
Positiveness, guys. How can you not think we're going to find Riley, alive? And I want him to. We want to get Riley home. I want him to have a family. I want to be 20 years from now, him scolding his kids because, hey, one time I didn't do this, and don't ever do that because our parents all did it, and we thought they didn't know what they were talking about. And
Absolutely.
I'll be damned if they did. But yes, we have hope. We're at this point right now, though, 12 days in. We also understand what possibly could have happened because we've not got Riley back.
That's true.
But the love and support.
Okay, a quick, not thought, but I just muted his thing. Relentless for answers. Hi, Karen. She's from there. I mean, she's from real close by there. So she knows the terrain. She knows, you probably know a couple of the police officers, Karen. But she is from that area. So, if you have any questions about that area, Relentless for Answers would be somebody to ask. There's no doubt about that.
Out of that same conversation we just had, if Riley, the hope that we know that Riley is alive, there's a possibility if he is and somebody took him that it's not in an ideal environment.
Yeah.
We still want our boy back.
Absolutely.
I don't want to sound jealous. I want Riley back. I miss his funness. I miss his, not naiveness, but his innocence.
Yeah.
That kid, and guys, don't get me wrong. Nobody's a saint. When you're 22 and you're a fraternity and you go out and you're having drinks with your buddies, but he truly is. I mean, he was one of those kids that when we would go out and have fun, and I've got one of the pictures, I would take the boys religiously to Hooters, get wings. Yeah, that's why we were there. And every time we were there, I'll share the picture. Every time we were there, the girls just loved coming over and talking between the Twin Towers,
Of course.
And the ironic part is I've actually had some of those young ladies that have reached out that are now moms for, professional careers, has reached out asking about Riley. I mean, guys, think about this. This is a waitress that we visited once in a while that is concerned about a gentleman, a young man that come in with me and got to know him. And at a level, not, this is get the heck away from me. I would just want your tip money, It just shows the kid, shows the kid, shows the family he was raised in. And,
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a very sad situation. Yes.
Yeah, no. But it shows he's a good kid. He's a good kid.
Yep.
He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a good heart. And he, he affected even random small encounters with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had a
Literally.
lasting impression on people. And that means a lot. Sid, thank you so much. Remember yesterday, Pascal, we discussed 2 silver cars. Red Jeep that passed cop is never seen on Birch Cam. so turned in parking garage or made U-turn. Now, I'm trying to remember about this red Jeep. I don't remember seeing that personally, but we'll just throw that in the hat as well. So
the Jeep conversation, yeah, the Jeep conversation has come up. The crazy part about it, with the parking garage being at the location it is, we've even had the lines of, what if somebody had subdued Riley, taken him down to the parking garage, waited some time, and then drove out, just in case. We're thinking outside our head. The police, I do know for a fact, they watched that footage from the detention center till noon the following day. They were thinking maybe if he'd fallen down, had slid behind some brush, woke up, then somebody put him in a car, etc. There are numerous vehicles that the police are trying to find out and get some license plate information off. Maybe they were in the parking garage. The parking garage has been Fort Worth with all their video, and apparently they have extensive video in that parking garage.
Oh, okay.
There's two cars, two police cars that also has been seen in some of this footage that I'm not sure is time stamped in that era. Instantly, I'm like, okay, well, they had to have the dash cams on. They might have the body cams on.
Right.
The detention center is right there. Unfortunately, they were logged off coming in. So that I've had people that's reached out on that. We don't have any information on that either, unfortunately.
Man, okay. Christopher, thank you so much. The credit card is made of hard plastic. In my honest opinion, it's not going to get super dirty or from being dropped from a pocket or something. You could try throwing a credit card down that bank and see what it looks like before assuming what it would look like. I mean, yeah, I guess, that's true. But I know that it was also it was found in like a pile of leaves and stuff, correct? Kind of up against under the bridge, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to answer this, and I don't want to seem blunt. If you've ever had your Frisbee, your cooler or anything laying outside for multiple days, what's on it? Dust, a little bit of debris, a little bit of moisture. Yes.
Actually, Elbow, that's the first thing I thought of when I heard about this case was the Smiley face killers, because I've watched many things on that, and yeah,
a couple of leaves, but out enough to where it could be seen. What does that answer, guys? I mean, yes. That the crazy part about it. What if at that time the water was up high enough and it was in the water? I've had that thrown at me. Well, guys, if the water's running at that kind of volume, if you've ever done fishing, that thing is going to flutter and go like crazy. If it was stuck and found in between a rock or underneath a rock, I could kind of understand that too. But once again, when the rivers recede.
Wait a minute. Is somebody saying that there was a smiley face found under this bridge here on here? Tell me it isn't so. Are you guys talking Idaho, or are you talking this case with the smiley face? Yeah, there's a smiley face in Idaho. Yes, I have a picture of it. There's 4 hearts. There's a big heart with two inside and 1 on the outside. Okay.
Here, I'm going to blaze through these really quick. Michelle, thank you so much for the 5. Chris, did you get the video footage yet from the oil place across the river? The cameras face the water.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
It was a great deal today. We got a hold of actually a lady that is in control of their security in Ohio. By the time that they had reached back to us, and it was because of a friend, a sleuth, an internet sleuth that actually knew how to contact Marathon, is the reason that they have turned now the footage over to the police department. They were never asked for it up until very recently.
Mm. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Now, if you understand,
Really,
and
though?
if you watch the interview today, it was brought to attention that that's on the opposite side of the river. We're looking on this side of the river, etc.
Yes.
But I do know for a fact, actually, some of the barge captains that run up and down and actually use some of that area right there for the industry, we've been blessed. They're up and down the river multiple times a day, constantly looking for Riley. But we've been told they have really good camera selection over there. That's a very high dollar piece of property with a lot of fuel in it. With the crazy stuff that goes on in the world, I understand why they have that,
No doubt.
But yes, no. Once again, Marathon has been forthcoming, offered up that, but it's not been until recent, until as far as we are known, and by what I'm taking from what everybody heard at the press conference today,
Sure.
that was a viable point that was made that, we have been in contact and they are releasing it to us.
Let's talk about that press conference, can we? Can we talk
Sure.
about the press conference really quick? Okay.
Sure.
Because I know that, Cajun Navy spoke, the family, Riley's parents, step-parents and all that came up and they spoke out as well. And then the cops were there too, which seemed a little bit impromptu. But was this erected, this press conference, was it erected by the parents or by the family or by police themselves?
It was actually the parents and the United Cajun Navy. They wanted to go forth with this. Another frustrating deal. We've had lots of people reach out wanting to search for Riley, which is incredible, guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat this.
No, it's dope.
It's incredible what the people are doing trying to find Riley. But up until this point, and like I said, I'm 6.5 hours away, nothing has been organized, or when people called in to try to find out how to search and possibly give information for, Metro, nothing had been officially organized for that. Here's a grid, here's some flyers, please, here's your contact, here's the direct contact information, which I've been in other cities and that has happened, and so that's why we're super excited to have them on. Guys, when we reached out to them, they were there in Nashville in hours, within hours, drove straight through to come and help and support. The fact that he is I think a retired LEO from Pennsylvania, we do have actually somebody that is accredited and will have credit with our police department we're working with down there. I think this will definitely help with the communication. And with what we receive and what he can dissect is what he knows as a ex-policeman to be viable information to help move forward. What we're telling everybody is the United Cajun Navy, right now, they're also setting up for the search parties. I've actually had ladies that reached out today. I've hooked them up with one lady printed off 1,200 flyers.
Yeah.
Said, she showed them in the box that I've got 1,200 flyers for Riley. I need an address. Bro, that's incredible.
Right.
And so we've got them hooked up. If anybody would like to be part of the search parties, they are going to start actually doing a ground search, which we've not had at this time. And they're trained to do that, which I think is awesome. They also understand, as you heard in the news conference, there's some extreme terrain in that area, but they're trained to do that. They've got dogs that are coming in. They have a hovercraft that's coming in later on in the week. I had a gentleman reach out to me that actually has one of his own, and he's coming to Nashville tomorrow. If I can get into Nashville in time, I'm going out with him. If not, I'm going to try to be Thursday. The deal with the hovercrafts is we can actually go up in areas that the boats that possibly have been going up and down can't get to, one, due to the shallowness of it or the debris that's there.
Right.
So we've got a little bit of hope in that. But the United Cajun Navy, if nobody understands what that's about, they're actually a sub entity of the actual Navy, is what I have been described. They actually, when we approached them on it, they said, hey, I've got to fill out this information. I submit it in, I get a green light, and all their funding is provided by the Navy, is the way it was described to me, which is phenomenal,
Yeah.
So, so that's where we're at.
And a huge shout out to the Cajun Navy for just putting in all the time and effort and I could see there's a lot of passion behind them trying to help find Riley for sure. So that's really incredible. Philip, thank you so much. Nashville and Tennessee in general is a place where people step up when needed, won't stop until he is found. Prayers from Jamestown, Tennessee. I like that comment. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Philip. I love that. Thank you so much. S Dubs, thank you so much. I use my back pocket. If he went to pee in the river, that explains the card falling into the rocks. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Maybe he went over there to, either
Relieve himself
or relieve himself, coughing up or relieving himself. That's kind of what I was thinking. But what are your thoughts?
Anything's possible, but guys, Riley loved carrying a billfold. If you're going to put it in your pocket and being down in that area, once again, he was intoxicated, possibly roofied. The crazy part about it, the dynamics of what we don't know up till that point, every time we come up with a good idea, it is viable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is viable, but we have no evidence of Riley being anywhere short of where the card was found near the water coming off of First Street.
Man. Okay. Yeah. And that, again, that's going to be a ongoing question. What happened? Okay. Body cam gate. I feel it. You know what I mean? It's like police body cam gate. What actually happened there? What is real? What is not? I mean, seconds he disappears like that. It's wild. Christy, thank you so much. How far from body cam footage was his card found? Was Riley's card found? That's actually a good question. Do you know
it's the bridge that was close to what we're talking about, where it was at. Like I said, we're probably going to be within a couple hundred yards of where the officer had the initial contact with him. And I'm not physically been there. I'll be there tomorrow. Just looking at the pictures and what we've been taking, and what's been talked to us. If one of your listeners has physically been there on the ground, I would love for him to answer that question. That is one I can't give it a definite answer on, but not an extreme distance. Now when you're fat like me, 200 yards, that's a long distance. But when you're 6'5" and swimmer's body, you covered that distance. I know you can. You can cover that distance way faster than I can.
I'm a tiny bit shorter. I'm a tiny bit shorter than Riley. So yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying. Gravity is not my friend at all. Gravity is not my friend. But yeah, it's a great question.
Yes.
It is in the general area. Once again, the footage from the detention center, and when you look down on the map, the detention center is directly north of that bridge, that south of that, everything that happened. It is like the Bermuda Triangle. Riley went between those two bridges, and the Bermuda Triangle opened up. And and for those that aren't old enough, you can look it up. I know, but yeah, it's just amazing. It's like he was swallowed up.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's so confusing. It is so confusing. Ned Bella, thank you so much for the 5 Australian. Appreciate it. All the way from Australia. Has anyone sonar scanned the water? I think they've been doing that, but I think they're doing more of it starting tomorrow as well with the hovercraft and all that stuff too.
Yes, what we had, United Cajun Navy come in right out of the box. They were in the water. I mean, they had the boys. They had Jake and Jeff, family members in the water. Guys, we covered, I think they were in the water, and we were on the water Tuesday, and they covered 14 miles of that river just that day, looking, binoculars, sonar. I do know, and I don't know if it was their boat or another boat. There was a boat on the water doing side sonar on top of bottom sonar. Frustrating, man. It's frustrating. There is a possibility he could have went into that water, but the amount of press and how this is blown with the internet, guys, they have worked that river with technology and boats equivalent to what we're doing up here. So there are, after getting the information today that, hey, with the cubic volume flow versus what the locks were doing versus this, which, I cheated. I looked over here when we did algebra and all that stuff, being up to 100-mile radius. We have a 100-mile radius as far as the river goes. I have somebody that is intelligent in that, and it's not me just, I stuck a stick in the air and figured out the wind was coming that way. But yeah, and there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people in that river this weekend, just recreationally, let alone fishing, recreationally, etc. from where this happened down that area. You know,
Yeah.
it could be, that could possibly be, you know, or we go back to this, and if something bad's happened, and what if all of a sudden Riley shows up in a river somewhere? You know, that's why we have to look, guys. We
Yeah.
have to look. We have to go to that spot where Riley was last at. We have to look for with new eyes and fresh eyes and fresh ideals and fresh possible ideals. It's what's happened in that river, running up and down on it. Sonar, side sonar. We've had scuba divers that actually come. If I'm understanding correctly, the information I was getting, they have had some scuba divers come in that area, just that area, to look and see if maybe I've been told that the iPhone is very magnetic. I've had a lot of people say, hey, take a magnet, drag that area, because it is a shallower area,
Right.
but the
Right.
iPhones are very magnetic. My thoughts on that, when we found out the phone had, in essence, been powered down, it went dark. It
Right.
had battery.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, Karen. From other things that have happened there, that there's a real strong current, and yeah, he could have been down there to take a piss or something and fell in head first. I mean, he already fell head first once. You know what I'm saying? He already fell head first once, and that could have happened. Definitely could have happened. I don't know why he would have his. The only thing that I wonder about that is, why would he have his debit card out? That doesn't make any sense to me.
System.
Right.
Okay. How did it not ping on the other side of the bridge? You know, before it went to the bottom.
It's
More questions. Everybody's
Yeah.
going, hey, quit. We've got enough, you know.
Yeah. Real quick, this is the last super chat here. But C Star, thank you so much. Tell Chris LOPS equals loss of power soon. And they say they use it. Now, I've never
Exactly.
used that.
That's
I've never used that before in my
No.
entire existence of text messaging.
I
Does
know.
he have a history of sending that kind of text message out to other people using LOPS as
Uh,
as an acronym?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Riley's lady friend Googled it. That
explains
answers everything you need to know.
That explains everything.
She Googled it because she did not know what it meant.
Yeah.
She actually kind of was like, is this something new they learned in Nashville? Because it was something that Riley hadn't used up to that point.
I mean, unless he learned it but that's so weird. You see what I'm saying? It's so odd.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
But then,
very
you
odd.
know,
Yes.
speaking of phone stuff, did he happen to use any apps on the phone? Do we know if there was any activity on, like, I know this sounds random, but like Tinder or any of Instagram, TikToks? Was there any activity?
What's frustrating with us, and we'll talk a little bit about this, and then you got to go, and I need to put some food in my tummy and get my bag back.
Yeah, you're good.
The watch, if I can tell your listeners anything, if you have children or loved ones, if you have a smartwatch, a lot of them have their own data plan. Okay, you can opt up for that, which is phenomenal. If you can afford it, great, do it. But activate your location information and activate your, like, I'm going to call it your health and fitness app on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Those are crucial evidence that we could have had. But unfortunately, to show you how basic Riley was, he had a watch that was capable for those plans, Bluetooth to his phone, because that's all he used it for. The kid was not into a lot of technical stuff, a lot of different apps. He's a good kid. He's one of those kids that was a 1 in a million because he didn't live, with the technology and the Bumble and the Tinder and
Right.
the OnlyFans, and hey, if that's how you're making a living, I'm way past my prime. I should, if they'd had that back in the day, but yeah, none of that, and that was frustrating for us, because if this went down, we were like, wow, I've got a watch, I've got a phone. If something broke the phone, he should still have his watch on. I can get more distance out of it. And when the phone went dark, I don't have any information. It was powered down. If it was ran over, if it was thrown into the river, you have my thoughts on this. But when that phone was powered down, we lost anything we would have had with the watch. We've had numerous people reach out saying, hey, even though he didn't have those activated, you can still get that info. You have to subpoena, Apple, get the information. None of that's been released to us yet. I know that very recently, actually the first conversation that we've heard it from the police was today, and their interview about the watch. You can come to your own conclusions at there. I hope that's true. My son instantly, we talked about it. Dad, what was his heart rate? It shows if you've had a fall or hard impact. It'll show you, how fast you were walking. Was he running when this happened? And I'm like, wow, I thought all this time your mom and you were just trying to track me to keep me from doing stupid crap. And yeah, it's very vital information. So folks, if you have that option on any of your well-beings and loved ones.
Yeah, I think he hit his head really, really hard myself. When he got up and he started walking, he was like rubbing his head. That's why I don't know why they think he hit his shoulders and stuff. I mean, he hit his head. He hit his head on that. That's the way it looked like to me. And that's a hard thing to hit your head on, because did you all see that when he got up? He was like rubbing his head. And I think he hit his head pretty effing hard.
Verbatim on what information is needed, Apple cannot give that to you. So, I hope all those boxes are checked. It is a possibility. Maybe your iPhone users can chip on here in a minute, when I'm not here, and fill that in. And just one last thing too, guys. I try to keep up and answer questions and do that the best that I can, but we have thousands. I wake up every morning and I mark off my new friend list that's on Facebook. I'm old. That's what I've got. And literally a little bit ago, before we hopped on here, I had 511 new friend requests.
Oh, of course.
And I don't even sing or shake my butt on TikTok. I appreciate it. I have an open account, as in my Facebook page is open. You can message me. I try. I've actually kind of delegated to my lovely wife. She goes through while I'm taking a 5-minute break, catching food, and starts trying to answer everybody. I sincerely, I try to go through everybody and to answer and respond. You may have the information we need. We sincerely appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, man. Hey, Chris, let me just say this. I appreciate you for being here, just being so candid, being open to hear everybody's questions, including mine. And just it's interesting being answered yet. And I mean, it's this one big hat of just what ifs that you could just.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Basically take your pick, and it could be that too. And I can only imagine how frustrating it is for you, let alone how frustrating and heartbreaking it is for the family that's dealing with this right now in Nashville. I know you're going to be on your way over there tomorrow.
Yes.
And so I just say, have a safe trip. And, I hope by your presence being there, hopefully there's a quicker turnaround in finding out what happened here. Man, it's so wild. I don't know what's going on, man. I just don't know what's going on.
It's mind-boggling. It is literally mind-boggling. And my biggest reason for going, we had to rotate family members out. We all have jobs and stuff we have to take care of. And it was my opportunity. I've got the window to go. Guys, I'm not going to Nashville to do a revelation. I'm going to Nashville more than anything. I want to personally thank the people that are there handing out flyers, that are physically there, searching the shores, that are in the boats. The family's done that. I've been campaigning for them. I want to shake hands. I'm a hugger. You need a hug, I'm going to hug you. I'm going to shake your hands. I sincerely appreciate this. The family, it's incredible that, how much what they see everybody as a community is doing keeps their spirits up. Guys, 10, 12 days into this, you have every reason to go to dark thoughts, but just to the love and support that we're getting, and the efforts by like your podcast and then, TikTokers and news interviews and everything like that. Yeah. I don't know how the kids do it or whatever, but,
you did it.
Thank you. I know. Now yeah. Oh, he's one of those. I'll take it. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
be
I'm
that
one of
guy.
those guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
be that guy. Be that guy.
Yeah.
No
No,
judgment here. No
sincerely.
judgment.
I appreciate everything you do. We will be there. Let's find
Please,
Riley.
please keep in touch. I hope we can stay in touch because I'd love to know what's
Yep.
going on. Love to have you back on the show if
Okay.
to get some updates later on.
Sure.
When you get down there and everything, I think that would be really, really amazing. So,
Okay.
but Chris, I'm gonna let you go so you can go get some food in you and everything. All right.
Perfectly. I appreciate. Thank you to your fans and your base. And guys, there's no dumb questions or suggestions at all. Anything is viable. I've given you enough information to make your head hurt like mine does, because the variables of every step that Riley took could be a different situation. And I that's why I'm reaching out fresh eyes. We've been looking at this with tunnel vision on for so long.
Absolutely.
You may have exactly what we need. And I hope that, in 24 hours, 36 hours, we're on here and then you're on the screen with us. And I'm doing emotional things that men usually don't do. And we're excited we've got Riley home. But thank you for everything you're doing.
Hey, thank you, man. Hey, a safe trip, safe travels. Good luck out there. I hope you get out there and we have some positive and amazing results here very, very soon. But we'll be in touch with you soon. God bless you, brother, and many blessings. And I'll talk to you very soon. Okay.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Man, I want to say a big thank you to Chris for being on, man. It really does mean a lot. That was a lot to take in, but I'm glad that he was able to come on and just talk to us. We just had a conversation. I think that there was a lot there to take away. There's still a whole lot of questions, man. There's still a whole lot of questions, but I do appreciate Chris coming in and answering as many as he could. Okay. That really does mean a lot. And I really hope that Riley is found. I hope that there's some transparency and clarity with law enforcement. And I think that with Chris being out there, boots on the ground, I think it's going to be, I have a feeling he's going to be very helpful with just getting everybody together. Right. And just having more communication between family and the agencies that are part of this search. And I'm not sitting here saying that they're being completely non-transparent, but at the same time, I think the more communication, the better, in my personal opinion. But I wanted to say really quick, welcome to the family, Alicia. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Same thing with Amanda. And just like those two, please, thank you so much for the 20. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Debbie, for the 10. It really means a lot. I appreciate all y'all for being here and watching the show. It really does mean the world to me. Penny, thank you so much for being a member for the past 2 months. Thank you for your hard work on this case. And even bigger thanks to S-Dubs, Mimi, and Amanda, S-Dubs, best silent ninja mod. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Shout out to S-Dubs. I know when we get these big, when we have these big shows like this, usually we have more mods in the house. But that's something that, man, it's just like, you just kind of have to let it run. Just let it be. You know what I mean? Jessica, welcome to the family, Jessica G. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Green-Eyed, thank you so much. Green-Eyed PI, thank you so much for the $1 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Again, guys, hopefully this answers some of your questions, but also I hope this shows you that there are not a whole lot of solid answers thus far. The family is still scratching their heads. Even Chris Dingman is scratching his head trying to figure this whole thing out as well. And I think we're just going to have a little bit more patience and wait for law enforcement to release, the law enforcement to actually release the other footage, the other security cam footage, etc., that is still in their possession. Once they do that, I feel like it'd be good to have a good stitch of a timeline video-wise of the walk, etc., blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think that'll be extremely helpful, especially with all of us sitting here like I said, scratching our heads, trying to figure out what happened in between these times, what happened on the other side of that food truck, what happened at right before his last ping. Where did he disappear to when the body cam turns back around to an empty sidewalk? What happened? Did he really get into a silver car? I know you guys are putting out something about a red Jeep or a red car or a red Lyft or something like that. Did he get into a red Lyft? Did he walk across the street? Did he walk down the bank river? Maybe to take a leak. You never know. Or to just get away from the police. Maybe he got nervous. You never know. But like I said, questions still need to be answered. And hopefully we'll get something very soon. The other thing, too, is that Apple Watch. What data, what information do they have? What do police have from that Apple Watch? Hopefully there's going to be some more transparency very, very soon. But in the meantime, that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really does mean a lot. For real, for real, for real. Okay. We're all here to try to get some clarity, some news, and a better understanding of what actually happened here. So hopefully law enforcement, Cajun Navy, and all the other agencies that be are doing everything they can right now. And you know for a fact that they are. So hopefully we'll hear from them maybe tomorrow with some more updates in the search for Riley Strain. Again, I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. You guys are fire. You guys are amazing. Real talk. It means the world to me that you guys are here. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. All right. If you can, I'd love to see it go to 2K if you appreciate the conversation. Okay. You are able to walk away from the conversation with something from this show, with some information, a little bit of clarity. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button. Hit that like button if you're watching on X. Okay. Be sure to follow me on X. Follow me on Facebook. Crush that subscribe button. Follow me on TikTok. Okay. And Instagram. Might as well. Okay. That'd be greatly appreciated. Of course, there's always the option to hit that join button down below and become a member if you're watching on YouTube. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's right there in the ticker going that way underneath me right now. Of course, check out pascalmerch.com as well. Check out that merch. That'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all. And yes, that's a good thing to know. S-Dubs, thank you so much for that information. Thank you. Yes, if you want to know, if you're in the area and you want to volunteer in helping, go to the United Cajun Navy's Facebook page. There's some information over there on how you can volunteer, okay? If you're in the area, you got some time on your hands and you want to go help out, lend a helping hand.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you showed me that channel there, Deborah. I subbed and liked up, and what you should always do, when you go to a creator and you like their channel, make sure you sub, like, and hit that notification so you get their notifications. It's always a good thing to do, and it's good for the community. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Do we go look at some Riley? There's some stuff that bothers me about this case, just from stuff that I looked at earlier today, and in my experience of watching true crime from quite a while, and I've seen cases in Nashville. And if is Karen still here? If she's still here, she'll know. She'll know what I'm talking about. I think I've seen, if I remember right, it's always like a couple weeks later they find them down river a ways, if they are deceased. You know what I'm saying? And Gray Hughes. You mean on this case, maybe, yeah. I don't even want to look at him on the Idaho case. Uh, I don't know how many people on that. Why, has he got something good on this case or what? I don't know. You guys, what do you want to do on this? But that's in my, like I said, in my thank you, Rice. In my experience, it's like a couple weeks later, and they, because that river, I think is pretty strong current. And I remember I seen Mikey saying that. I seen Karen saying it, and she lives right there. So you know what I mean. What is that, Randy? Is that something? Everybody's giving me something to look at. I don't know which case you want to go after. If you let me know what you want to go after here. Do you want to watch some stuff on this, or do you want to go to the Idaho 4? I'm leaving it up to my family. So just let me know. Koberger or Riley? Riley or Koberger? I want to find out which they want to go first. Oh, you're saying Gray Hughes too, huh, Randy? Oh, yeah, I'm starting to see a bunch of Idahos. Okay. Well, we'll take a peek at this. I got a couple of odds saying they want to watch this Gray Hughes here for a bit. I'll take a look at that. Can you? Let's see. I'll just look them up, and then we're going to go on to the Idaho, I do believe. I'm just telling you, personally, I don't like Gray Hughes that well. Just letting you know. And we'll see what he's got, though. Okay. So, yeah, this is only like 17 minutes. We can do that. We can do 17 minutes, and then we'll go to we'll check out some of the new stuff on the Idaho case. But this does look interesting. And he is good at his own investigations. It's his interpretation of his investigations I have a problem with. Which one was it now? It's got to be this one, right? No. This one. Okay. All right, here we go.
Me showing you on a map like I normally do in cases where I show you where all the different elements are, and there's possibly a sighting of somebody who may have done something to Riley Strain. And it's pretty interesting. That's if the surveillance footage is correct. On March 8th, an individual named Riley Strain was at a bar called Luke's 32 Bridge. He was removed from the bar at 9:35 after the bar claims he was given one drink. But as fraternity members normally do, apparently he was there with 8 members of his fraternity. They were there to party. A lot of times you'll drink before you go out. It's called pre-funk. That's what we used to call it, like pre-function, where you have extra drinks. But if I was a parent, I would not allow my child to be in a fraternity. I was in one. Sure, they're fun and you can meet some good friends in there. But the fraternity in general usually looks out for themselves, and they look out for their own fun. So if there's one individual that's struggling, they very rarely take care of that person. they're looking out for their own good time. I had a brother that passed away in a fraternity, and after he passed away, they had chapter meetings, making sure everybody had the exact story and everything like that. My brother had an irregular heartbeat in general, but he did coke, and then hours later, somehow he went into a fatal rhythm, and they couldn't save him. And it's his choice that he did coke. 1986, it was really common at parties, etc. But he passed away, and the fraternity tried to, sort of silence everybody and keep it quiet. They wouldn't help. I mean, it was really pretty disappointing. And I was even in the fraternity, and then eventually I left the school and I never went back. All right. So that has nothing to do with this case. I just want to let you know that fraternities aren't really all they're made out to be. Okay. They're really just a place to party and have a good time. All right. So here is Luke Bryans. He gets kicked out at 9:35, and then he's going down 3rd Street right here. And as you can see, let's just back out a little bit. And then he takes a right on Church Street. Now, here's where the surveillance footage starts. Here's the first one. This one starts at 9:45:02. So we'll go down to Street View here. And you can see right here, there's 2 manholes and then a light pole. Now, there's 2 manholes right next to this light pole, but there's 2 right there. And if you go to the video here, you'll see here is the light pole and then 2 manholes to the right of that, and he falls down right over here. Now, I don't think he actually hit this cement block here. I think he just face planted. The angle makes it look like that, but I think he's far enough away from the cement there that he didn't hit it. And then you see him get up. I think he hit his head really hard on the ground though, and probably scraped his face. And he gets up, looks way more disoriented now. And as you can see, here's the light pole, and then there's 2 manhole covers right there. If we go to Street View, there's the light pole, the 2 manhole covers, and he fell down right about there. Now he's walking in this direction. So if we go up here, the next surveillance is just right down the street at 9:45:57. It's right in this location. You go down the Street View. The camera that filmed that is, I believe, right there. It's either that, I think it's that camera, and it's filming in that direction. There might be another camera. It looks like there's one there too, but I'm not sure that would be the correct angle. If there's another one on the other side of the door, that could be it as well. Don't see it, but there's multiple cameras around here. But it's definitely filming in this direction. You see him pass by that opening right there. The street is a little bit different now. There's some signage on the ground here. In a wider angle shot, you can see this little red square, the light pole, and the garbage cans over here. So you can definitely see that. So let's get to that surveillance right after this. And here he goes. There's that opening. And you see him walking there, very, very intoxicated and disoriented. I think that fall really added to whatever problems he was having. I don't know if he's bleeding from that fall. And so there he is. If you go down to Street View and you look, he's walking by about right there. Now, the next spot he goes to is at the end of the street. That's the next surveillance footage. So if we're up in the air here and you go down the street, staying on Church Street here, it's right there. And that puts him on Gay Street right after he goes through this intersection. And the camera here, if you go down to Street View, I went over all of this on a live stream, but it was kind of buried in there over time. So in the video that we're seeing, a camera on this light pole, as a matter of fact, it's that one right here. That camera is filming him walking across this intersection, and he continues on that in that direction right there. So So let's move to that footage. And here it is. There's the crosswalk. There's the intersection. And the camera I just pointed to is filming him walking across. Now I'm zooming in just to give a little closer up look of him. It's like he's got his cell phone out in his hand, looks like his right hand, just stumbling quite a bit. And he sort of turns around, looks like he might ask the girls something. And then he just kind of continues off the camera. Okay. So at that point, he continues around in this direction. So we can go down the street view here and just follow his path. He was walking like this. And apparently he makes it up underneath those bridges that you see up in front of us. Now, one thing I thought was interesting during the live stream that I was doing is that he's 6'5", and these walls are 3 feet tall. So his center of gravity would easily make him or allow him to stumble over the wall if he went next to it. And he's absolutely in a state, much like, I don't know if you guys ever remember the Kanika Jenkins case, where she was stumbling around in the hallways, leaning against walls, could barely walk. And I think he's in the same sort of situation here. Now in this area here, there are no walls. Like after you pass here, there are no walls. And this is where I started becoming interested in whether or not he went into the water. Now apparently they have him on surveillance camera, they said, not dash camera. They said surveillance camera somewhere around in here walking. Right now, there's another YouTuber out there that put together or has video of 2 police cars driving by, and they're driving by further down here, and he says that it's at 54. All right, so that would be after his sighting here. So he was spotted in this area in between this bridge and that bridge. Now let's go up in the air. This is the James Robertson Parkway Bridge right here. And this bridge right here is the Woodland Street Bridge. So somewhere in between here, he was seen, and then his phone quit pinging just shortly after that, like around 9:55-ish. So he was seen in here between, I think they said 9:52 to 9:53. He was seen right in this area. So this is the video where they're claiming that there's cop cars driving by at 9:54. Now we don't know if this is 9:54. That's just what we were told when watching the video. So let's just assume it's correct. Now, if you look at this video and you pause it, there's a tower right there, and then there's a building here to the left. And I was able to determine, if you go back to Street View, let's get on the ground here. If you go forward through underneath the bridge here, man, what's going on there with Street View? This is the building right here that the camera is located. And I believe it's even possibly that camera right there, 1 or 2 even. And there's the large tower that you can see right here. It's kind of a dark silhouette. It's right there. And even the building looks similar. You can see another camera right there, which would probably be, let's see. I don't know if it's on that end of the building, or it's probably that one actually. It's probably, so that is the camera. It's that camera, and you see that camera in the other shot. So you go back there, there it is right there, possibly. I mean, it's hard to tell exactly, but this is where that camera is filming, and it's going by there. Now, the person that did the video claimed that there's an individual running, and they're not sure if that is Riley Strain. Okay, let's just play it. Now, if you see that, the person has a white top, and dark bottom. Even in that blurry state there, you can make that out. Well, Riley Strain does not have that. Okay, so if you go back in time, look at that. So if you were seeing him from that same angle from behind, he'd have a dark top. He does have a light part in the front, but he's not moonwalking in that video. He's walking forward. You see the dark colored shirt, and his jeans are a little bit lighter than his top. All right, so let's go back to this. Now you see this little figure running off to the right here. See how it's light on the top? And apparently this is around 9:54. Now I think the elephant in the room is if this timing is correct. So if we go back up in the air like this, and that's at 9:54, and Riley Strain goes missing in this area at 9:52 to 9:53, then is the person running the person that's responsible for doing something to him? I mean, it's really, what are the odds that there be somebody jogging at 9:54 at night, heading right away from exactly the location that Riley Strain's phone quit pinging, and the last time he was seen? He wasn't seen exiting that area, and there's other cameras. So like I was showing on the show the other night, I think he went missing inside of this circle right here. It's probably, could even be more right in there. But isn't it interesting that somebody is moving away from the crime scene? So let's just recap this now. Right over here at Luke Bryan. And then right here, take a right on Church Street. Luke Bryan was on 3rd. First surveillance right there at 9:45. Second at 9:45 and 57 seconds. The third at 9:47. And I also forgot to show you that the walking time from where he was seen last on surveillance that we've seen, it's 5 minutes to where he went missing. So if you add 5 minutes to 9:47, that puts you right there at 9:52. And that's exactly when they say he was in this area here. So if it's true, the timing that another YouTuber put out there at 9:54, then the person running away from there seems to have a high possibility of being the actual person involved in the disappearance, since that person has a light shirt and dark pants. Riley Strain from that same angle would have a dark shirt and the pants would appear lighter on the camera. Okay. So I hope you found this video interesting. I believe Riley Strain went into the water right around this area right here, and they just haven't found him yet. The stream flows in this direction, and it was higher at the time he went missing, and it was going quicker, and he could be way further downstream, unfortunately, when people started looking for him. Well, I hope you found that interesting. If the information is accurate, that is real surveillance footage from 9:54, that does appear to be right after the James Robertson Parkway Bridge, and that's at 9:54, and you have somebody running away that definitely isn't Riley Strain, then you could be looking at the person who did something to him. And that guy is very fortunate because they got out there just after the police were driving by. We don't know how much time elapsed between the police officers driving by and the person running. Okay, so thank you all very much for watching. If you could put your ideas in the comments section, I would really appreciate it. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with him. Um, I think they're going to find him later on downstream. And if someone did something to him, that's something that I don't think. I hate to say this, but this is not the first time this has happened in Nashville. And Elbow was mentioning earlier about the smiley face thing, and I've watched a lot of stuff about that, and this is exactly everything that the smiley face thing was about. I mean, it fits the profile of it, but then there is some differences. This guy hit his head, and I know it's his head because he got up and he was like this, and he hit his. Oh, my cat is goofy. Get down from there. He hit his head really hard. Did he pass out by the rocks, or did he go head first again into and the current is really fast there? Karen said, yeah, that could be too. Moonflower, yeah. But I mean, those were 3 New York detectives who studied that case, and they say there is like a serial killing smile face thing going on in this country. And it's more than 1 or 2 people. It's a group of people. And these are former detectives from New York. So I don't know what to think on that. I just think that they're going to find him, and it's not going to be a good situation. But if he was alive, I think, unless he was like taken and held someplace, which that's kind of a theory of that of those detectives in the smiley face thing. Because when they would find the bodies, it wasn't like they had been in the water like 2 weeks, and it was like they'd only been in there 2 days. So there is something funny going on there. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It really is. The whole smiley face thing is a tough one. It's hard to believe something like that. Like there would be this coordinated effort throughout the United States. But you know what? Look what we're seeing in Idaho. You know what I mean? I don't know. The world is crazy. It is. It is getting crazier and crazier. It's like there's an evil in this world, and I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what to think about people, and just being and having this crime channel. I've learned I don't know about people anymore. I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of losing faith a little bit, and I don't know anymore. Anyway, I'm gonna look up something on the Kohlberger case. Just give me a minute here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into a very short intermission. The ones that know me know this. I do this once in a while, and I'm just going to go into a very, very short intermission, and I'm going to go find us something good, and I'll be right back. Okay. So just hold tight here for a little while. I'm going to put some elevator music on. It won't be long. It'll be just a minute or so. So I shall be right back. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it up to you. We can go on with this case, and CJ is on, or we can watch Chaos Sector, who somebody said earlier that they are leaving the case, so that this would be their last video on the case. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Do you want to go over to CJ's and watch what's going on? He is in Nashville, and we can continue on this case, or we can go watch Chaos Sector. It's up to you guys. Let me get that intermission sign out of there. What do you guys want to do? All right, I'm just going to jump on something here. Maybe we'll jump on. Well, CJ, let me take a look at where he's at right now. He is live. And okay, he's not quite ready to go there yet. They're just loading up. Now, okay, now I'm going to throw in something else. Well, CJ is ready. He's live right now, but he hasn't come on yet. It looks like he is live, right? Yeah, I do believe so. Oh yeah, he's on. He's on. All right. I'm going to show this real quick because there's a new doc drop. Okay. New doc drop. New doc drop. Let me, I'll be right with you here. I'm going to see what he has to say here.
No, they don't have parking decks. What's going on? I know, me too, LR. Me too. I'm hoping that he got amnesia from Fallen and he can't remember and he's hanging out in a fucking tent. You know? Hanging out in a fucking tent. Old school. Idaho is ridiculous at this point, isn't it? Seal, seal, seal. You guys remember Seal? He had a good song in the movie Batman Forever with Val Kilmer. What was that called? It was the one with Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey. Kissed from a Rose, that's what it was. Great song. Order to file Defendant's Exhibit L attached to the defendant's 13th. That's why I was like, what? Are you telling me that there's 13? You got to be kidding. I can't remember who came in and said it in our chat earlier. 13th. I was like, what? The 12th just came out last week. Are you sure? Because there was people that were coming out with videos today and yesterday saying that it was new docs, and they were talking about the 12th request. And then I was like, well, maybe there's nope. There's 13. 13th supplemental request for discovery under seal. Judge. So there's your new document. Are we? This is crazy. I'm just waiting for September. So when I hear Bill Thompson say, "I'm sorry, Judge, we don't have the other 5%. We've been waiting for that 5% since December 2022, and we still don't have it, Your Honor. Is there anything that we can do? Can we just continue on? Because, Judge, we've said it this whole time that we're not going to use it anyway." But she's still asking for video, cast data, information about some of the photography with no time stamps or dates. She doesn't know who took the pictures. She doesn't know if it was the 13th, the 14th, the 15th. So who knows? Batman Forever, I know. Not a very, it was.
Okay, I think I want to watch that chaos sector right now. I want, because I'm really interested in if they're really quitting the case or if that's just you know what I'm saying, if it's just a rumor or you know what I'm saying. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's see what they got to say here. They're always good.
Surveillance is irrelevant. Some have stated we should move on and don't engage in quote YouTube drama. First of all, we are not true crime investigators. We've mentioned that before. So please do not expect us to follow a standard you have for the true crime community. We don't follow your standards of what should be focused on, what should be talked about or investigated. We address what we feel needs to be addressed. Now, don't run off the hill with that. We do acknowledge information and statements that many provide. But to the point about this investigation, the interrogation of get a clue is actually very important. It's like many don't realize the impact that some people have or may have in the investigation and even the trial. Going back to the claims that the Linda Lane surveillance is irrelevant. If the murders happened approximately around 3 a.m., and there is surveillance leaked out from an apartment complex near the victim's home, that not only makes it relevant, it also has visual and audio evidence in it. So how can anyone who is claiming to hope those victims receive the justice they deserve could claim the Linda Lane surveillance is irrelevant? Let me guess, you want to sweep that under the rug because the chaos has shown it has been edited, and we broke down that the audio evidence of violence occurred prior to the alleged Koberger's arrival. Oh, now it's irrelevant. Oh, but if we were on the other side of the table claiming to spot Koberger's vehicle circling, it would be the most important evidence in the case. Yeah, see, we expose any and everyone. We are done with the investigation. So for those who only subscribed for only that, well, I guess you should either get used to the chaos sector and what we expose, or find another true crime channel to follow. No offense, but we do not operate by anyone's standards. We know what we're doing, and we know what needs to be addressed. Many forget that our seniors already did the heavy lifting in this case. They exposed the frame, and to be honest, we can say our investigation has stapled that theory on the wall with strong evidence. Many forget the hard work. Heck, perhaps the chaos is responsible for the hashtag Free Koberger. I mean, our impact in this case hasn't been a fluke. And trust me, the prosecution, the defense, the families, and those traitorous DC agents all keep tabs on the true crime community. Did we not address Dylan's affidavit? Did we not address the physical setting of the lone killer entering that home? Did we not address the likelihood that there were multiple killers who entered the home on foot? That's for those thinking we hadn't addressed that. And this is the point. You have to go back and realize how far we have come. Did we not address the next morning and the obvious deception of how everything panned out before and during the 911 call? Did we not address WSU Kim and her claims and students who spoke about that night? Did we not address Kaylee's friend, claiming to know Kaylee was harmed around 10 a.m. when the reports claimed the bodies weren't discovered until approximately 2 hours later? This meant they knew about the murders, people, which we broke down, and if they knew about the murders earlier than what was reported, then everything is subject to being known prior to sunrise. Did we not address the mainstream media's claims of Kohberger stalking those girls? Did we not address the propaganda they pushed? Did we not address Dot's claims, who many have claimed to debunk? How do we know these individuals aren't college students trying to debunk her because she's telling the truth? Oh, nobody ever thought about that. Did we not address the audio from the neighbor's camera, which many claimed was fake? Yet, if the reports claim it heard faint noises from inside the house, surely it heard a lot more loud noise. And if the mainstream media news comes out and claims it was fake, then more than likely, it's real. Did we not address Jack's warnings to the girls? Did we not address Bonnie and Clyde's involvement? Did we not address Bethany's exculpatory evidence that the prosecution desperately wanted to silence her about? Did we not address the so-called private driver? Did we not address the so-called DoorDash driver? Did we not address the gas station clerk? Did we not address Maddie's black coat being found by the detective, in which he tried to conceal it from the cameras? Did we not address the red Mustang crashed and abandoned? Did we not address the white Hyundai Elantra crashed and abandoned? Did we not address the lack of surveillance footage claimed to spot Kohberger driving in the neighborhood? Once again, this is why the Linda Lane surveillance is so important, because it's the only surveillance the public has seen regarding that night. And trust me, this will be used against Kohberger. And Ann Taylor has to be ready to fight against this. Because a certain individual, had to cough, traced an outline of this vehicle, which matches the description of the defendant, and it's there aligned with the timestamp of Kohberger's path. This surveillance is more important than many could imagine, apparently. Did we not expose the knife sheath being planted in the home and the DNA being planted on that knife sheath? Did we not address the prosecution, failing to provide the defense the identities of the 3 additional male DNA samples discovered at that home? Did we not expose the FBI tracking Kohberger before the DNA even came back? And the reason they were tracking Kohberger is because Batman gave his vehicle up to WSU campus police? Did we not expose how Moscow PD claimed to not have a make and model of the suspect 7th, yet already had the make and model on November 29th from WSU campus police? I mean, I can keep going. Speaking of evidential analysis, we already did this early on in the case. Of course, theories will come about after collecting all the evidence and information. And since our evidential analysis resulted in the theory that Kohberger had been framed, which Get a Clue basically alludes to in a lot of his content, every theory or sub-theory we present is centered around that frame. But, we have wild and unfounded claims based on speculations. What else can we possibly do in the investigation? It's our conclusion that Kohberger was framed. In connection to the aforementioned shady business, look at the fuckery there. Moscow PD claimed on December 7th they were searching for a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. But on November 29th, they obtained a later model. Guess which one? That's right, a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra by WSU campus police. Now, if they obtained this model, why would they be searching for a 2011 to 2013 model? Oh, because the FBI identified that model. The so-called FBI expert identified it, right? Oh, the fuckery is bananas. Where is the search for a white Hyundai Elantra coming from on November 29th, you ask? It would have to be from, drumroll, the FBI expert. Because Moscow PD stated they couldn't identify the vehicle in the Linda Lane surveillance, they stated it was a, quote, light-colored car. We can easily say that was bullshit, but follow the fuckery even still. If this were the case, then the so-called FBI expert had to be notified about the 2015 white Hyundai Elantra on November 29th, right? Guess what happens to the 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra? It vanishes into thin air. And you want to know why it vanished into thin air? Because the FBI already had a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra on November 29th. Mind you, Moscow PD sent out their press release December 7th, searching for a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. But both Moscow PD and the FBI already had a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra on November 29th, meaning they were searching for this vehicle, but the press release for the specific make and model didn't come out until about a week later. We checked those press releases from November 15th all the way up until December 7th. And on November 29th, when they obtained the 2015 white Hyundai Elantra from WSU Campus Police, there was never a press release identifying this vehicle, let alone a vehicle in general. Well, of course, they couldn't have a press release identifying a vehicle because they had to build the frame first. Think about this in retrospect. If Kohberger was guilty, then it would have been a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra spotted by the so-called FBI expert right off the bat. Moscow PD has their press release identifying the suspect's vehicle as a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra, you see? And then the November 29th identification of his vehicle by WSU Campus Police would make sense. But because he was framed, they pretended to not have a vehicle or person of interest. It was only until December 7th all of this came about. Let all of that sink in. You see what I'm talking about? We've been over all this shit already. But since the vehicle was already being searched for, we can suggest that vehicle was pointed out by Batman a week prior, or even soon after the murders. But get a clue. Claims the FBI identified this vehicle. Yet how could they identify this vehicle when they changed it to a 2011 to 2016 model after obtaining Kohberger's model? Yeah, that's how that would happen. But it couldn't happen that way because the so-called FBI expert would identify the differences between the models, like get a clue claimed, right? So the 2011 to 2013 model never existed.
Hold on, let's make sure everyone understands that. Moscow PD obtained the Linda Lane surveillance from the landlord on November 14th or 15th. Doesn't matter which day it was in context. They described the vehicle spotted as a, quote, light-colored car. Okay, briefly, let's present a wild speculation, as Get a Clue would say. In that TikTok video, the woman states that the landlord was scammed into giving up the surveillance to some woman, right? Now, for this landlord to be, quote, scammed into giving up the surveillance, that woman had to have some type of credentials that convinced them to give it up. Perhaps Tracy Walder, who has been vocal in this case. She is a former FBI special agent, you know? This would give her so-called clearance, pretending to be an investigator on the case. She could be that woman, and she is a former FBI special agent. And she also is a former CIA agent. She has a book called The Unexpected Spy. And of course, being quite prissy, you wouldn't expect her to be a spy. And apparently, get this, she was also in a, wait for it, a sorority. There are a lot of ways for her to slither around, it seems, and you definitely wouldn't expect her to be involved in this case behind the scenes. Or how about Jennifer Coffindaffer, a former FBI agent who has never had the optimism Walder had? Jennifer relentlessly attacked Kohberger, even insulted him personally. I believe she said something like Kohberger was an incel, with a perverted hatred towards women. Now, how in the hell did she come up with that analysis without any evidence that was proven of this? Creating that negative image is aligned with plotting to place his vehicle in that surveillance. She has that look of betrayal, that look of not giving a single shit about someone being sentenced to the death penalty. Do you see those evil, glaring eyes? They remind me of another old hag, Nancy Grace. Sick, demented, and just flat-out wicked women who actually hate men. That's why it's so easy to slander Kohberger. Comparing, we could suggest Coffindaffer, which doesn't sound like a real name. Remember, these are FBI agents. We can suggest that Coffindaffer was the one behind the scenes plotting to obtain that surveillance. And of course, she would be cleared by her former employer, the FBI, as she would be so-called investigating independently on the case. But don't let the girly looks fool you. Walder's innocent glare is why she was successful as a spy. The point here, who else would just be given surveillance footage involving a massacre, if not someone who had credentials to obtain it? But let's get back to the point. Although that is linked to the point, Moscow PD hadn't publicly reported that they had a make and model of the suspect's vehicle until December 7th. But if we go based on this press release, then would Get a Clue, or anyone else, suggests that it was during this time frame the so-called FBI expert spotted a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra, which led to that make and model being publicly released December 7th. If so, then we have a very disturbing predicament, because not only did Moscow PD have a 2015 model before this date, being November 29th, we also know the so-called FBI expert also had that same model before that date. So why did they report it was a 2011 to 2013 model? Yet, the very vehicle they identified on November 29th, being a 2015 model and being Koberger's, end up tracking that vehicle and arresting him for the murders? Well, there was never a 2011 to 2013 model because they already had the model, which they ended up arresting for the murders. This is what we challenge Get a Clue about. Mind you, once Koberger's vehicle was identified on November 29th, Moscow PD visited those apartments, obtained surveillance footage from those apartments, and concealed all of this from their press conferences. It was only until December 7th that they publicly identified a make and model of the suspect, or quote, person of interest. But behind closed doors, they already had the suspect. And once again, we broke this down without even adding the FBI into the equation. How could Moscow PD pretend they had just obtained a make and model on December 7th when they already had a make and model November 29th? And that gets even deeper because how did WSU campus police even know to search for a make and model before Moscow PD publicly released that make and model on December 7th? Oh, yeah, it'll make your head spin. We'll stop right there so you won't get dizzy. Simply put, all of the oddities prove that Koberger was framed, and they had to pretend to gradually track down a make and model, which led to Koberger. I mean, we've broken this down time and time again. There's not much else to say.
I want to go back to the element of these femme fatales who may have been the source of leaking that surveillance. Out of the two, it's hard to tell who would have lurked around near that crime scene asking the landlord for the footage. On one hand, the witch in Coffindaffer is the obvious choice, but the deception of Walder's innocent girl persona could also be used to pull that off. Also, don't be fooled by all of these so-called former FBI agents. Some of them, if not all, to be honest, are still FBI agents. They just become so-called mainstream media FBI agents. The ones covering high-profile cases, voicing their opinions on news segments. Putting it into that perspective, the landlord was actually approached by a FBI agent or FBI special agent who investigates video footage, obtains it, and then, of course, is depicted as a former FBI agent in the mainstream media.
Maybe that's the so-called FBI expert who identified a white Hyundai Elantra. They never identified this individual, and that means they're considered anonymous. But why would they be anonymous? They work for oh yeah, that's right, forgot who I was talking about.
Exactly. The same with all those so-called sources that made all of those claims, such as Koberger stalked those girls. Sources claim there is surveillance of him in that neighborhood 12 times prior, or he had broken into his friend's home prior to the murders. I mean, all of this had been considered evidence by the mainstream media, yet none of it has been proven. Easy for a FBI special agent to lurk around in the shadows and be considered the, quote, anonymous source providing so-called evidence to the mainstream media to report on. You would never know that Elvira was still an FBI agent. That would be Jennifer's nickname. The point here is that someone in law enforcement or former agent on either level got that surveillance from the landlord. And as we mentioned, the bridge between the federal government, local and state authority, and social media included individuals within the true crime community. It's obvious. That's the only way it can be leaked out. There has to be a bridge to distribute the surveillance to the true crime community to examine. Once again, this Linda Lane surveillance was never officially released. It was leaked out, and the reason it was leaked out instead of officially released is because if it were officially released, then they would also have to officially release the neighbor's security footage. And as you should know by now, why we think it's never been officially released. You guessed it, because there was never a white Hyundai Elantra spotted by that camera. And of course, where in the hell does the white Hyundai Elantra in the Linda Lane surveillance come from? I guess Get a Clue claims with the alleged suspect's vehicle in how it vanished into thin air to where they couldn't track it down, right? It just, popped up. It teleported to the back of those apartments. You see? And that's why the Linda Lane surveillance is more important than you think. They don't grasp how important that surveillance is in the trial. Again, the alleged suspect's vehicle was not a 2011 to 2013 model because the FBI and Moscow PD already had a 2015 model prior to the December 7th press release of that 2011 to 2013 model. I don't think our audience really grasps the work that we're doing here. We simulated how detectives were supposed to investigate the case. We took you through the crime scene, breaking everything down. The Killing Silence series was basically the end of our investigation. We even displayed evidence of the Linda Lane footage being edited. What else are you guys expecting from us? To point out the killers directly? You're not going to get that. I think you've gotten a bit spoiled in how you have expectations and standards for others. You view content for months, and with a few videos, you're already complaining and saying you'll unsubscribe? That is fickle, and we do not want that type of energy around, because it shows you're quick to flip-flop when things aren't going your way. I repeat, your way.
That's a good point. I want to reiterate the issue from the top. Nobody can tell us how to investigate, nor what we investigate. It's very selfish to demand that content creators, true crime commentators, true crime investigators, anyone for that matter, follow a certain standard or expectation of how to go about an investigation. Now, they would say, well, you're being selfish in focusing on a content creator when you claim it's about getting justice for those victims. Well, justice is something the courts will serve. Our job is to investigate, and there are always elements of, quote, external components that are linked to an investigation, meaning it's not just about focusing on one thing or two things. There are several things you have to deal with. So once again, we know what we're doing. There is no need to tell the chaos what to focus on. Many go out of their way to present content to their audience. Perhaps sometimes they could wait due to personal circumstances, but they present it anyway because they want to share their content with that audience and receive feedback. There are so many dynamics that individuals are overlooking or even disregarding. Many have stated we've gone off the deep end, becoming obsessed with attacking other content creators. The problem with that perspective is, do you know if that has an impact on the case? Of course not. Yet the chaos may detect something that reveals that it has an impact. But the thing is, you don't determine what the chaos looks into. If we feel it is important to the case and our investigation, then we will address it. And if it takes 10 videos to drive it home, then so be it. Now, that may sound like we're being a bit snarky, but you're creating a narrative that somehow we're disregarding the investigation. It's all relative, my friend. You may not like it, but everything we address is relevant to the investigation, the case, and even the trial. So, I just wanted to kind of put a lid on that whistling noise.
And before someone responds in saying, oh, you're saying no one can tell the chaos how to investigate, but you're trying to tell others, like, get a clue how to investigate, is being a hypocrite. Yeah, sounds good, but is completely wrong. We are not telling anyone how to investigate. We are questioning the claims of their investigative work. It started with a question about vehicles claimed to be spotted, and we simply presented our concerns about that claim. The response and several statements led to a question of integrity. The same way the audience can voice their opinions and critique the chaos, we're doing the same with other content creators. And once again, this is not true crime content creator drama, nor bullying, nor harassment. We have come to the conclusion with everyone we have addressed, these individuals are conspirators. That is a detriment to the justice you all are seeking, yet you don't care about that. But the actual investigators do care about that. But as the saying goes, you can't please everyone, I guess. Yet, I think you guys who are complaining should perhaps go back over the chaos episodes and others who have dedicated so much time and effort into investigating this case. It's clear that you all forget that and have become too comfortable in expecting things to pan out like you want. Anyone who has followed the chaos and not just kind of, stopping by, would know our primary investigation is over. We also pointed out that the trial would be slow-moving due to the frame. It's going to be a bunch of rescheduling, motions filed, motions heard, motions denied, more motions filed, more motions heard, and more motions denied. We already pointed that out. While this was obvious and was happening, we were investigating outside of the court proceedings because we already knew how that would play out. In general, there isn't much for anyone to break down in the case, for the true crime community anyway. I will say this, as we pointed out many times, there will be several testimonies, and despite the claims that the survivors won't be summoned to testify, the prosecution actually may want to shy away from Dylan's testimony for obvious reasons. The defense will attempt to reach out to Bethany one last time for her alleged exculpatory testimony. There is a difference in accounts, which obviously changes the setting at the home between the two survivors. So while everyone is running around claiming we aren't focused on the case, we're focused on the case. Many have forgotten the defense stated that Bethany has exculpatory evidence. And just like the prosecution is playing hide and seek with their evidence against the defendant, the defense is playing the same game. The question is, who actually has the evidence that determines the verdict? Both are claiming they have evidence to rule in their favor. I would say this: for that Linda Lane surveillance to be leaked out, which wasn't officially released by the authorities, it indicates that that side jumped the gun trying to convince the public Kohberger was guilty, but it had to be from some law enforcement source. And that means they couldn't bear the staring game anymore. They blinked first. But the crazy thing is, the prosecution is in a catch-22, kind of like with Dylan's testimony. If the prosecution intends on using the Linda Lane surveillance, which has been leaked out, and many have so-called identified a white Hyundai Elantra, then the neighbor's security camera footage would also have to be examined. And get a load of that insanity, because at no point would there be a white Hyundai Elantra spotted entering that neighborhood. Wait, how can we say that? Because that footage has never been leaked out, because the conspirators couldn't edit it to display a white Hyundai Elantra like they did with the Ford Fusion in the Linda Lane surveillance. Yep, we've come to the conclusion it's a Ford Fusion. After all, someone claims a Ford Fusion was there at 4:07 a.m. Where is that vehicle being identified in the surveillance? Because it's going away from the highest visible region. It was the same vehicle creeping up, that's where. And this is another reason the neighbor's security camera footage hasn't been leaked, because you would spot the Ford Fusion entering the neighborhood. Definitely can't show that to the public. Instant exposure of Moscow PD being aware of the murders at that time. So of course, we'll leak out footage we can manipulate and basically claim it's a white Hyundai Elantra to the public. And many were convinced. As for the neighbor's footage, we'll leak out a screenshot of the footage that doesn't reveal anything tangible to examine. The only thing that was key to that leak was the time of 1:56 a.m., which was the time Kaylee's sister claims the girls arrived back at home. Yet, the actual footage was never released to show them coming back at that time. They didn't even show that to verify the claims. Maybe they got back earlier or later. We wouldn't know, because that footage has never been released. And going back to that oddity, Kaylee's sister literally viewed this footage. So this means whoever allowed her access to it knew there wasn't a white Hyundai Elantra ever in that neighborhood. But the so-called FBI expert had to spot it from this camera, right? Get a clue? Surely we would have all seen a white Hyundai Elantra creeping into the neighborhood. Guess not. It's being, quote, saved for trial, along with all the other evidence against the defendant. Sure, why not? So, of course, the classic scratch of the head comes about with the following question. How is there a white Hyundai Elantra spotted, which would be alleged to be Kohberger's, yet there was never a white Hyundai Elantra spotted entering the neighborhood from the neighbor's camera? Yep, can't drive the vehicle without gas, my friends. And guess who's pointing out that the white Hyundai Elantra was edited into the surveillance to frame Kohberger? And guess who claimed the alleged 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra somehow just teleported to another country for fuck's sake? And guess who couldn't track this vehicle, who they claimed was the suspect, and somehow ended up tracking a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra instead? And guess who never explained how this actually happened? And guess who called them out on it? And guess who traced an outline of a white Hyundai Elantra and even wanted to prove Kohberger was in that Linda Lane surveillance? Yeah, we do not waste time in who and what we address. Something is suspicious and it immediately pops up on our radar. So we investigate that also. We have been digging into both sides all this time, I think people have forgotten this investigative work. But we also address elements of deception from any and everywhere. Maybe it's time for you guys to take a break. Have a moment to yourselves, your families, your friends, because the trial will continue to be delayed, and we will meet back up until then. Farewell for now. We will return to exposing everything and everyone. This is the Chaos Sector.
Okay, I think whoever said that might have taken that wrong with Chaos Sector. I don't think they were saying that they were stopping the case at all. I think that was taken wrong. But anyway, yeah, so we have a video to watch. Chaos Sector is always good, so make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Or maybe it's Scrub and Bibe. Scrub and Bibe? Make sure you subscribe to the Chaos Sector and to like any other videos that you watch and stuff, because they're quite good. And they put somebody that we didn't really like too much in their place. Okay, so we're going to run a video that Joe from the chat, one of the family, is she's been in the family a long time. We're going to run a video back on to the Riley case that she says it proves us that Riley got into a vehicle. So this is kind of interesting. We shall see, right? So here we go. And this is a TikTok video. Please listen closely. You can hear Riley Strain talking to someone. Then you hear him get in the car. I believe they lured him in the car. Interesting. Let's take a listen.
Or a car. Riley Strain, for those who don't know, is the college student that was partying in Nashville and was kicked out of the club and went missing, and it's been strange things ever since. Now, a lot of people on social media are speculating and talking about this black car that keeps being seen following him throughout all the surveillance. This is the street he walked down. There goes the black car again. Now, this is another shot. Now, in the video of the body cam of the cops, you see Riley is running down the street. When the cop turns to him, Riley slows down. They have an interaction. He says, "How you doing?" "I'm fine." Then the cop proceeds to continue walking. Riley goes the other way. Now, when he goes the other way, there's a black car, and then there's this gray car, as you see, putting the brakes on. Now, you got to listen closely. The 19-second mark, you hear somebody say, "Hey, come on," or something, and you hear Riley say something about getting a car, or is the car something. Then at the 28-second part of this video, you hear the door shut, clear as day. Listen to this and tell me what you think. I don't know if he got in that silver car or maybe the black car, which explains why when the cop turned around, everybody's like, well, where did he disappear to if he just walked past him? Check this out. Now, when you look, when it swings around, watch, you go in the distance over here, you're going to see Riley running. See him? You hear his feet. You see the gray car and that black car.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you?
Now listen.
Good.
Door slam coming. Now, when the cop turns back around, you don't see Riley. He had to get in a car.
Who's over here on Gate
No
Street?
Riley. He had to get in the car. Goes the other way. Now, when he goes down running, this is again the street being seen and keep speculating and talk about this black car that keeps being seen following him throughout all the surveillance. This is the street he walked down. There goes the black car again. Now, this is another shot. Now, in the video of the body cam of the cops, you see Riley is running down the street. When the cop turns to him, Riley slows down. They have an interaction. He says, "How you doing?" "I'm fine." Then the cop proceeds to continue walking. Riley goes the other way. Now, when he goes the other way, there's a black car, and then there's this gray car, as you see, putting the brakes on. Now, you got to listen closely. the 19-second mark, you hear somebody say, "Hey, come on," or something, and you hear Riley say something about getting a car or is the car something. Then at the 28-second part of this video, you hear the door shut, clear as day. Listen to this and tell me what you think. I don't know if he got in that silver car or maybe the black car, which explains why when the cop turned around, everybody's like, well, where did he disappear to if he just walked past him? Check this out. Now, when you look, when it swings around, watch, you go in the distance. Over here, you're going to see Riley running. See him? You hear his feet. You see the gray car and that black car.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you?
Now listen.
Good.
Hey guys, I just heard get in the car. I just heard get in the car. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It said get in the car. Listen to this. If you have headphones, put your headphones on. I did hear get in the car. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Listen to this. I got to back it up a little bit more.
You see the gray car and that black car.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you?
Now listen.
Good.
Right there at 149 to 150. Listen, at 149 to 150. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. Right there. Listen to it again. Put your headphones on.
Good. How are you?
Now listen.
Good.
Right there. Get in the car. Right there.
Door slam coming.
Yep, that's a door. That's a door opening.
When the cop turns back
There's
around,
a shut. There's
you
the.
see Riley.
I heard the door open and then shut. That is definite. In my eyes, in my ears, he's exactly right. I'm going to put this at 140. Listen at about 140, right? Almost is not long, like almost right after he walks by the cop. He says, get it in the car. Listen to this.
Sir, I'm good. How are you?
Now listen.
Good.
Get in the car.
Door slam coming.
No, door opens. There's the open.
Now when the cop turns
There's
back
a shut.
around, you don't see Riley. He had to get in the car.
I heard it open and shut.
It's over here on Gate
No
Street.
Riley. He had to get in the car.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Pretty fucking crazy. All right. Wow. I'm going to bookmark this or something because I'm going to want this. Whoops. Let me see. Where'd it go? Oh man, come on. There we go. I'm going to listen to this one more time, man.
If he got in that silver car or maybe the black car, which explains why when the cop turned around, everybody's like, well, where did he disappear to if he just walked past him? Check this out. Now, when you look, when it swings around, watch, you go in the distance. Over here, you're going to see Riley running. See him? You hear his feet. You see the gray car and that black car.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you?
Now listen.
Good.
Get in the car.
Door slam coming.
Door opening. There's the door opening.
Now when the cop turns
Now it
back
shuts.
around, you don't see Riley. He had to get in a car.
What's over here?
Yeah, he's
There's
not
no
there.
Riley. He had to get in the car.
Why can't they figure this shit out? Why can't they figure this fucking shit out? Excuse my language. I don't know. That's crazy to me. Okay, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. My beautiful crime family, thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to be running, I don't know what night it's going to be, but I'm going to be running a panel show. And that's going to be coming up real soon. What is today? Tuesday? It'll probably be Thursday, maybe, or Friday or something. And yeah, that was really good, Joe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joe. And I also want to, you guys, at the very beginning of my intro, Albo did such a great job on that. And I just want to thank her. She must have went to bed. I should have said that when she was in here. But she did such a great job on that. And I'll play that at the end of the outro, which I'm going to kick your little butt on. If you weren't in here in the afternoon, you probably you didn't see that. But yeah. Okay, I got to stop that, get that out of there. Actually, I'll leave that up for now. Okay. So anyway, yeah, it's time to shut her down. And oh boy, she's been a rugged week. With about the last week. And sleeping wise, channel wise, everything wise. Hopefully I can get I was up at 9, so hopefully I can get some sleep. So yeah, and thank you very much, Joe, for that. That was good. Yeah, and I hope everybody has sweet dreams too. Let me do a couple things here. And I'm going to rock you. I'll leave a nice little outro. Not too long. There's only 65 of us in here, so. But it's going to be good. I guarantee you. My crime family, you are my heart. My mods, you are my soul. Until next time, rock and roll.
Sleeping around your door. In the still of the night, I feel my heart being heavy. Tell me I gotta have more. In the shadow night, I see the full moon rise. Tell me what's in store. My heart is aching, my body starts shaking, and I can't take no more. Close to you and taste your love so sweet. And I just wanna make love to you, feel your body heat in the still of the night. In the still of the night. I'm here, baby. In the heat of the day, I have my head down low, hiding my face from the sun. Gonna light the day until the evening time, waiting for the night to